Asnim's fence starting off in a similar place to a place I started off in before. How's it going? Chess? It's pretty difficult. Especially when you play it with squares, which are very different than pimps. So, last time I did an important thing, and this time I'm gonna do another thing. Now, I got another lockpick, so this time I can go into the caring door. The Care Bears bust out of this door, and then they just sort of attack people with fury and rage. And I guess now I will be cared about. Probably. Let's... Yeah, I definitely will. Wow. This is just amazing. I have to sneak in behind a guy. Well, I guess I'm not supposed to be here or something, because what's even the point? I just get seen by that guy anyway, because these lights can't be put outed. I mean, the fire in these lights' heart cannot be put outed! Well, that's just weird, so instead I'm just gonna sort of go someplace else, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I can get into the other tree graveyard, or it's the stone graveyard where Tom gets buried, and it goes, "Here lies a guy who was inanimate." Oh, well, that grave looks very flooded, and it's very unfortunate. The dead just don't get the respect that they used to back in everybody's day. I don't really understand why all these places are locked, however, as that's 2 places so far that really didn't have anything in, unless one of these things is climbable, but I don't even know what purpose that would even, you know, serve. Oh, hey. Hey. Hey, that's interesting. It's like a new place entirely. Who can even believe such a thing? I don't know, but it isn't me. But yeah, these doors just kind of don't open anyways. I should be investigating the private investigators because, you know, Daryl the John Thompson gun here said that... What? What am I even saying? Sometimes I end up saying something random and it ends up sounding funny, and other times I end up saying something random and it doesn't sound like anything and it ends up making me look dumb. Imagine that. I have a reputation for high intelligence to uphold. Hey.
Congratulations, Initiate. You have found the entrance to our headquarters. Congratulations also for a job well done in getting rid of the Dayport assassin. Know that from this point on, there is no turning back. Once a Night Mask, you will either live as one of us, or die as one of us. There is no other option. I'm afraid that since you have found our secret entrance, we cannot let you leave without either joining the Order, or dying with the knowledge. Do you wish to join?
You make it seem as if I had a choice. Yes.
Excellent. Welcome, Associate Darren. Before you are granted entry to our guild house, you must first complete one last task. Do you accept it?
Again, I haven't a choice. But nevertheless, consider it done.
Right, you are, Associate Darren. Take this note. It will provide you with the details. Take this key to the sewers as well. You will need it.
Be funny if you did have a choice and you could choose die, and you could fight people, and then you could abuse the engine and win. Unwelcome guests anyways. I wonder what this cursed book is going to have to do with anything. Maybe nothing. I don't know. Wow. What is all this nonsense? Now I'm going to have to read it and just... I hate reading. The narcotic apex is slowly taking over our way of life. Even reputable guilds are turning from thieving to drug trafficking in hopes to make a higher profit faster. Indeed, they will, but using the drug trade to get rich quick is akin to chopping down a tree to harvest its apples. We had hoped for a time that the drug would not reach Avisport, that it would remain exclusive to the city, but alas, we fear it has come to us at last. Some time ago, a young member of the Night Masks by the name of Edwin Wren sought to seize an opportunity in the drug trade and advised our leader to do the same. He was punished severely for his idiocy and confined to his quarters for a few days. Rejecting our leader's decision in regards to the trade of the dangerous narcotic, Wren broke his mask in anger and left the guild, murdering anyone who tried to stop him in cold blood. But not people who tried to stop him in warm blood, because warmth is fuzzy. Many masks came together in an effort to stop Wren, to kill him since he had broken several of the guild's codes. They were stopped by our leader, who wished to let Wren go and destroy himself. No one honestly believed that we'd ever see him again. More recently, we heard news from the city that a new lordship was granted by the Baron to a young noble by the name of Edwin Wren. Our young exile had made quite a name for himself, it seems. Not long after the new lordship, the apex trade increased by tenfold, and the quality of life in the city plummeted. Citizens stopped going to work and spent what little money they had left that they had on the drug. Factories shut down, business closed, crime and violence took a firm hold on the city's streets. In desperation, Apex was outlawed, and the Baron gave temporary control of the city and the watch to the Hammerites. It worked, although it still remains a shell of its former robust self, and the recovery will be a long one. The Hammers managed to breathe life back into the dying city with their archaic methods. Before he could be held responsible for the city's turn for the worst, Wren and his cronies fled the city to seek out new, untapped resources. Judging by the recent introduction of a red powdery narcotic, we are certain that Wren and his gang, the Red Serpents, has returned to Avisport. After the initial finding of the narcotic, we acted immediately by sending scouts to investigate each potential hiding place. Only the one we sent to investigate the sewers of this quarter didn't return. Not only has Wren returned, but he is bold enough to set up his new lair so close to our hideout. His audacity must be punished. As payback for our murdered scout, and to gain more information, we captured a red serpent and convinced him to tell us more. Apparently, Wren himself has a raging apex addiction, and his tough man bodyguard Reinolf is an alcoholic. Men with such weaknesses are easily taken down. And that is exactly what you're going to do. Our leader still feels that Apex should be Wren's end. What could be more ironic? Finding a bag of Apex shouldn't be too difficult, but making it lethal might. The old woman who runs the herb shop recently received a fresh shipment of monkshood, a highly poisonous and illegal herb. In exchange for not reporting her, she has agreed to part with some. Mix the Apex with the monkshood, even a small amount should be enough to kill, and swap it with one of Wren's clean bags, preferably the one he's currently using. As for Reinolf, it may be necessary to take care of him as well. Word is, he fancies a specific kind of wine. Pinot Noir, so our captive said. There is only one bottle of this that we know of, and it is being held in the basement of the Rusted Hook pub. Steal it and lace it with monkshood, then swap it with one of Reinolf's bottles. Without leaders, the rest of the Red Serpent should fall to pieces like a bunch of squabbling jackals. Once you've got the poisonous drugs in hand, use the key to enter the sewers and make your way into the Red Serpent's hideout. If Reinolf and Wren see you, the entire attempt will be all for naught. Return to us when you have swapped the items. Best of luck, text that doesn't go off the page. Fine. Dear Lord Wren, don't let Wren see you. Well, I don't know how to get into the basement of that place, seeing as the guards are, like, there, and I don't have... Am I supposed... Well, I guess I could kill them. I mean, yeah, I've got a rusted dagger. I don't have a blackjack. You'd think the Night Masks would have a blackjack available for their recruited mentees, because, you know, they're supposed to be all stealthy and stuff, but instead they're just like, hey, stay out of my shed. Let's bash some heads in. Well, this still isn't the investigator's place. I don't even remember where it is. I probably passed it, but at the very least, there's this. And at the very least, oh, it is the sewers key, so I actually do need to go in here. But, you know what I should actually do first for literally no reason is try to find if this other lockpick, well, I guess it obviously will work for this window, because it seems very entertaining. And, you know, it's so entertaining, you've got to ration the time that you do it, because you've got to ration your video game time so that you go outside and get some exercise, even though you don't want to do that. I think I'm talking irrelevantly. Why the hell didn't I grab the window there? Oh, wait a minute, I'm not even supposed to get in here. Wait. What the... Can I not get in here? Not even with 1.19? That's ridiculous. It looks like I could get in that. It looks like there's a chest I can open, but I guess... Well, I probably can't. It's probably just for show, I guess. But it's that addict guy, and I guess he's dead. I still feel like I should get in there. Seagull's Nest room key... Oh! Yeah, okay. Alright, let's barge in where we don't belong. Nothing. Oh, well, there's Bag of Apex. Although... doesn't seem to be Rhino, unless this is Rhinoff, but that's ridiculous. A leader of a leader thing would not stay in some crappy hotel. I don't know if that guy's dead or just sleeping, but I sure hope he is dead. Drugs are bad, so like, don't ever do them. Oh, that's some good music. I can't stop referencing Pony every time I rap. So you can see I'm a little bit giddy for no reason and stuff. It's quite detrimental to my ability to live and stuff. It's all pretty awesome, I guess. I think that guy's place is up here, and by guy I mean, you know, investigator. And I just want to go in here because it's not part of my mission, and you know, places that aren't part of the mission are obviously good to go. Good to go. And stuff. Anyway, yes, this guy was at least somewhat more secure than certain people in the hotel on account of he made his door require 2 lockpicks. But, you know, I don't think that's the way that you make a lock by saying, we're going to make this lock require a certain number of lockpicks. I think people don't necessarily think that way. Oh, great. It's like another thing.
Alabaster, I am not pleased with the results you've presented thus far. With a name as famous in the investigatory world as yours, I would have thought that you would have provided something of more substance by now. I'm fully aware that the task I have hired you for isn't in the realm of the simple. If it were, I wouldn't have needed to hire someone such as yourself at all. I have included your payment with this letter, 100 gold pieces as usual. If you do not send me something of substance within the next week, the payments will not continue to arrive. Your current employer, well... I'm now convinced that the majority of night mask activity in this city is carried out from the Seagull's Nest Tavern. Of the many times that I've sought more information, that has so far been the only establishment in which every single one of its patrons either flat out denies knowing of any such guild or pretends to not hear me.
That's a bad way of disguising.
Some nights, there's a seedy-looking man in black who sits on the top floor drinking alone in the corner. I tried to talk to him the other night, but he didn't respond, so I asked him if the trickster had gotten his tongue. He looked at me as if I'd just slapped his mother and tightened his grip on the mug he was holding. The bartender informed me that he was mute, so feeling a little guilty, I brought him around and sat with him for a bit. I produced a piece of parchment, hoping that he could at least write. I slid it to him, and he nodded. At first I asked what he thought of the weather, to which he replied that he finds the rain delightful in the hot month of Cinder. Then I asked him if he comes to the Seagull's Nest often, to which he replied that he comes almost every night. After a few more questions that I used to break the ice, I finally just came out and asked him if he knew anything about a local gang of thieves known as the Night Masks. He looked at me curiously and quickly replied, "Never heard of it." Much too quickly. I started to ask him another question, but he tossed the quill down and nodded good evening before heading down the stairs and out the door. Something was up. I followed him out the door, tailing him from a distance. He looked back once and didn't see me before entering the graveyard. I waited a few seconds and followed after, but the graveyard was completely empty. There was no one at all. I haven't seen the man since, but it's only been a couple nights. I paid a visit to the graveyard groundskeeper's place, but there was no one in. No one's ever in, or so I hear. It occurred to me while I was walking today that the first floor of the Seagull's Nest's booking room section is abandoned and walled up, and it just so happens to be right next to the graveyard where I saw the mute man disappear. I tried asking about it, but as usual I either got blank stares or downright rude and sarcastic replies. I'm not completely sure where the Night Mask hideout is located, but I feel very strongly that the graveyard has something to do with it.
Okay, so I was supposed to come here first, investigating with told about the graveyard, but there's no walled up section that's next to the graveyard. Like, what are you even talking about? Unless they mean this, but I think it's this building over here. Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, I guess now I must go into the sewers. Okay, so here's the sewers. It's all pretty great and amazing, you understand. Anyways, I guess I'm looking for their man. What was, you know, killed or something. Also, I have to go into the basement of that one place with the guards and maybe kill them or something. I don't know. Again, I feel like I'm not thinking broadly enough because I don't think I would be expected to just go and kill a bunch of people totally unstealthily. But, well, who knows? Stop! Hammer time! That hammer is like, he doesn't even care about that body over there. He's just like, yeah, it's a dead body. Served him right. Oh, now I do get a blackjack. Well, that answers that particular set of woes, I suppose. Well then. Okay, I can use it to blackjack a hammer. Well, that's Tunnel C, but unfortunately, it doesn't exist. And so, yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Alright, turn right around as if you were having a name starting with an R and ending with Elm. It's a sort of a tree. Are you a tree? Well, you don't flutter, so maybe not. Well, I guess that hammer actually killed that guy what tried to bust in here with a blackjack. That's pretty great. I love how all the dead guys here are very dumb. Well, in the game in general, you know, like a guy tried to do a task which is not that difficult, and he's like, I failed, and stuff. And, you know, it's all pretty good. I guess this is going to be a somewhat linear experience of sort of going and flipping switches. And that's acceptable to my tastes, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I mean, at least the architecture is interesting, but still, it's a bunch of tunnels and things, and perhaps the doors work and perhaps they don't. I wouldn't know such a thing. Well, okay, so I can go here if I want, or man, imagine if you had to come down here for maintenance and you had to get on the other side and there was no bridge. That'd be hilarious. Or I could go here. Going on?
Guess it was nothing.
Are these guys supposed to be talking? Because if they are, well, probably not, because you're gonna make noise no matter what you do.
You seen Ren? I went up to his quarters to collect my cut, but he wasn't there.
He'll be back in the morning. Apparently, he was called away for urgent business in the city. Why don't you take it up with Reinhold?
Because I prefer my legs unbroken, thank you very much. That brute is always looking for an excuse. Have you seen the way he looks at us? Like we're just common thieves taking advantage of a sweet deal.
Well, we are. Apex is selling like hotcakes, so we don't even need to risk our necks with burglary much anymore. All we have to do is sit back, guard the hideout, and go on the occasional drug run. I'd say it's more than sweet.
Good point. Think the Night Mask are going to do anything about us?
Huh! Those self-righteous taffers won't even notice we're here before their own business starts crumbling out from underneath them. The Apex trade is where the real money's at these days, not stealing baubles from some bursting bodice of a nobleman's wife.
Yeah, anyways, well, it looks like this is about the drug trade. That's pretty dark and stuff. I don't know. Oh, hey, great. He heard me blackjack a guy. That's incredible. I totally like that, don't I? Yep. Certainly. Come on. Yeah, whatevs. Oh, hey. See? Saying whatevs and stopping caring will solve all your problems. You know, if you've got relationship troubles, all you gotta do is cease caring about your loved one so they become your not particularly loved one, and it'll solve all your freaking problems. You can take it from me because I know everything about relationships, including the diagonal relationship, which I one time read about, and it's not even real because it was in a work of fiction.